Yo, what's going on, guys? I am the Geek Slays, and welcome back to the Scuffed Ass Podcast, episode number 148. We're back with Wunder, because I'm sick, and I forgot to plan a podcast for this week. So, fallback guy, whatever. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm the fallback guy. But
Yeah, how you doing, man?
well, enjoying my day off that I didn't know I was gonna get.
Are you enjoying it? What were you watching on Netflix? What is there to watch on Netflix?
Are you an Addams Family fan?
Oh, were you watching Wednesday?
I was.
I'm going to be honest, the only Addams Family content I consume, I think I've showed it to you a couple of times, is nothing actually to do with the Addams Family. It's the one TikToker who talks about comic books and made the whole series of the Addams Family moving to Gotham and like interacting with Batman and all the villains. It's fucking hilarious. That is the best thing ever. It's so phenomenal. It's so great.
About time Batman meets somebody that's just as creepy as he is.
Right? Batman is a fucking weird dude.
Just show up out of the shadows. I'm Batman.
Right. I do gotta real quick. I want to throw this cheap plug in early. Thursday, December 22nd. So next Thursday, just a little under a week after this episode comes out, I will be doing a charity stream on Twitch for Project Hope. So be there for that. Sorry, had to get that out of the way. Very important since I announced it like an hour ago.
So next Thursday, damn, I'll have to work.
Well, yeah, shocker, but it's all right. You you donate enough money to me, but I guess if you want a tax write-off,
right? Which I never put my charitable donations as a tax write-off. So
even though you're supposed to,
you're supposed to, but. My charity donations never really amount to a whole lot.
Right, that's fair.
So it doesn't really do a whole lot anyway. So
that's fair.
If I was a billionaire, I'd definitely donate a hell of a lot more than I do.
Right, for sure.
Still gotta live.
Yeah, this is technically the first charity stream I'm gonna do, and then after this, once the Twitch tool for charity streams comes through, so like. It's all handled by Twitch. Because, yeah, going through the process of setting up this charity stream, it wasn't the easiest thing to set up. Once the Twitch tool exists, maybe I'll do more charity streams in the future because it's going to be way easier because it's all integrated through Twitch and I don't have to try to figure it out myself. Because I don't like the idea. I've seen some people do charity streams where, like, they just accept the donations and then they handle going and donating it to the actual place. Yeah, I don't like that.
If they actually get it donated.
I don't want you giving me your money and then relying on me to go do the thing. Like, just like this, the link that handles the donations, I never see the money. It goes directly to Project Hope, which is great. That means I don't have to fuck with it. So I like that. Because, yeah. So, what do you want to talk about first? Football?
It's your podcast, bud.
Yeah, I know, but you're the one here.
I'm just the fallback guy.
That's fair. So, Vikings defensive coordinator Ed Donatel is on something today. So, all season, his entire scheme has been, other than in the red zone, his entire scheme is just... We just play a cover 2 shell, and every receiver is open by about 20 yards, and we just get fucked constantly. But today, Ed Donatel talking about the Vikings' defensive struggles, I think it's more of an execution problem than a scheme problem. We need to be tighter in coverage. We have a good mix of schemes. No, you just run a cover 2 shell, you dipshit. And you can't play tighter coverage because it's zone, you piece of shit. If you want tighter coverage, sorry, yelling's hard. If you want tighter coverage, maybe run some man, run some press, run anything other than a cover 2 fucking shell. Okay.
Easy, killer.
Oh, God damn it. I'm sorry. You do not get to blame your players for your scheme being shit and then just go, well, they aren't really running my scheme, you know. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yep, that sounds like coaches I've had in my past.
Yeah, right? And then go ahead, finish what you're saying.
I was going to say that, make a call, it doesn't work, and then because he didn't see something that was correct about the call, make the same damn call over again. And then I was already pissed off that time because we did the same play 2 times in a row. It didn't work the first time. And then the third time, he's like, we're going to run it until we get it right. And I'm like, this is a football game. No, we're going to run. And then I got in trouble. But I want to win. I don't want to lose because my coach is a jackass. So
right. So Danielle Hunter, Vikings edge rusher, should be a top 10 edge rusher in football. He doesn't have the production this year. Mm-hmm. So the Vikings are transitioning from running a 4-3 defense to a 3-4, which means Danielle Hunter, instead of being a down defensive lineman, is now a stand-up linebacker, which is really stupid. He does not have the tools to do that. He's a pass rusher. Rush the passer. If I see number 99 out in coverage again, I'm going to flip shit. Why is number 99? Last week, there were multiple plays where Danielle Hunter was basically in man-to-man with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Whose idea? Well, Ed Donatel, the fucking idiot who thinks he understands defense. I mean, there's a reason that nobody calls his defense the Donatel scheme. It's the Fangio scheme. Maybe we should have hired the guy who made the defense, not the guy who everywhere he's gone has been awful at the defense. But then he made comments about Danielle Hunter saying, with tighter coverage, the pass rush is more likely to get home. When asked about Danielle Hunter, he said, I think he's finally starting to get comfortable. It's really going to take the whole year because standing up and playing in our base is a little new to him. Our down defensive linemen suck. Maybe just make him a defensive end again, you moron. Then we can let DJ Wanham, who's actually doing a really good job as an actual outside linebacker. He can rush the pass, but he's more suited to handle the other parts of playing an outside linebacker. Maybe you let Danielle go back to where he's supposed to be, and maybe we put in DJ Wanham. It's wild that sitting at home I can see more than a guy getting paid millions of dollars. Are you just stupid, Ed? Are you just stupid?
Is that happening on your end or just mine?
What happened? Oh, is Discord's video being really weird?
Like it's like cutting out?
Oh yeah, that's just your end. It's happened on my end a couple times. What's weirder is if you were to pull up OBS and start window capturing Discord, the Discord app would still be having issues. Your Streamlabs or your OBS would not see it. It would be perfectly normal. It's the weirdest thing. It's happened twice when recording podcasts with E-Row. It is very odd.
Yeah, I don't know. It acts like it's like my camera's like barely plugged in, and it's just.
Yeah, no, it's. I think it's all good.
Okay, well, as long as it's fine on your end, then right? I'm not gonna worry about it.
Yeah, I think everything's fine.
Other than it wants to give me an epileptic seizure. It's like flashing.
Nice.
Strange.
But yeah, the Vikings defense has its struggles. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that they don't, because let's go look. I want to find NFL defense rankings.
Every defense has had a struggle this year, honestly, due to injuries and.
Well, that's not exactly true. The Broncos have been really good. The Cowboys have been great. The Niners have been great. Defensively, though, for completion percentage, the Vikings are in the bottom 10. We're allowing teams to complete basically 68% of their passes. Yards per attempt, we are the absolute worst at we allow 7.6 yards per attempt. Total yards given up in the passing game, Vikings are bottom. Touchdowns given up, though, the Vikings are like not exactly the bottom. They're like 20th, which still isn't good, but it's kind of impressive for how many yards they give up that they don't allow you to score.
You know what drives me nuts, though? That tells me that you have to have one hell of an offense to have the record that you do.
Yeah. When I say our season rides on 18, I'm not lying. We go as far as Jefferson can take us, which is not a situation I love to be in because we've seen that before.
Yeah.
Only it was number 28. We could go as far as 28 can take us. And one guy can only take you so far. I don't care how good they are. Unless they're a quarterback. That makes it a little different. But then, if you move over to rushing stats, how are the Vikings in rushing stats? Yards given up, they're actually at about 15th. They're middle of the road. We'd probably be top 10 if Dalvin Tomlinson didn't miss the majority of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That was tough. Yards per carry, though, again, we're pretty high up there. You know, we're mediocre. You know, we're not bottom. We're not really top. Rushing touchdowns, we're fine. We're not great, but we're right at the same level as the Dolphins and the Jets. You know, we're right there with other good teams. It is entirely just we allow you to get into scoring position way too easy. Look at the Jets game. The Jets game proved to me how much I think the Vikings defensive scheme actually isn't about the plays they call. It is entirely about we just can't let them score touchdowns. We will bend, but we can't break. Now, we seem to bend, completely the fuck over, but we don't break much.
You got really soft steel.
It's like the Jets game. They kicked 6 or 7 field goals. That means we let them drive right down the field. It's just you get into the red zone and we go, no, you can't score a touchdown. Kick it. Which is not the best strategy, if we're being honest.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's the Bills have been
the Bills.
Strange. Like they went from an elite defense and an elite offense to that's a good defense. I'm not gonna say it's bad. To offense is normal, hit and miss. They seem to this year they seem to be a second half football team instead of a first half football team.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I wish we'd just be a full game.
Being a second half team is better than being a first half team.
That's what I said.
That's the thing with the Vikings, because the thing popped up. It popped up during the Lions game of Kirk Cousins in the third quarter. It's bad. I gotta find this. This is more like the second and third quarter, really. But I need the full stat. Yikes! Where this gonna be? So here is a stat that'll just tell you, because this is about average for how Kirk has been in the third quarter of games this year. Cousins went 1 of 6 for 1 yard and an interception in the third quarter on December 9th. So who would that have been against? That would have been I don't think that was the Bills game. I think that's too recent. December 9th was... I guess that must have been talking about the Jets game, because there was no game on December 9th.
Was it the Jets?
It must have been, yeah. That's talking about the Jets game. That's not good, but, if we show up in the fourth quarter, which is, I guess, when it matters. Yes.
I suppose.
I'm gonna go try to find the Kirk Cousins in the third quarter. Sorry, maybe I should have done this research before, but I didn't know this was where we were gonna go. So All right, so what am I looking at? Regular season games. That's not what I want. I don't want to see the games. It's not just about the game stats. I want the very specific third quarter stats.
I'm going to
Vikings
send you some pictures.
of what?
What what I'm looking at right
Oh,
now.
good. Okay. Um. So this article, yeah, the Vikings had a 20-6 lead at halftime against the Jets. They ended the day doing everything they could to try to contain a frantic Jets rally in a 27-22 win. Blah blah blah. The Vikings ran 12 plays in the third quarter and netted a total of 10 yards. Kirk Cousins overthrew TJ Hawkinson. Then there was an uncharacteristic drop from Justin Jefferson, I believe his second of the year. The Vikings' final two drives in the third quarter ended with Jets sacks. The Vikings finished the quarter with minus 14 passing yards. Cousins' only completion went to Dalvin Cook for no gain. Let's see. Is this actually going to tell me the... Okay, so Vikings offensive splits by quarter this season are striking. They average 5.37 yards per play in the first quarter, 17th best in the league. They've been the 10th most efficient team in the second quarter, averaging 5.8 yards per play while scoring 97 points. Woo. In the fourth quarter, when they've so often needed to be their best, the Vikings have scored 100 points. That's the second most in the league behind the Browns, and averaged 4.9 yards per play, 15th best in the league. In the third quarter, they average 4.47 yards per play, the second fewest in the NFL. Cousins has not thrown a third quarter touchdown and has 3 third quarter interceptions with a passer rating of only 58.2. Cousins is the worst quarterback in football in the third quarter.
Well, that's his he's taking a break the third quarter so he can
I guess.
be ready for the fourth quarter.
I guess.
All that mental focus is hard the first couple quarters, so he's got to take a third quarter off so he can be there for the fourth quarter.
Rewinding though to the Detroit game, I'm very confused about the whole thing. Sorry, I'm not really in the mood to talk about the Bills. Like, you beat the Jets, you did what you were supposed to do. Good job. One thing I got to bring up is, again, Josh Allen, stop being a fucking moron. Why are you trying to hurdle two dudes? Why?
I don't know.
Is it your goal to get hurt and never be able to play? Is that your goal? Because you're going to get yourself killed. Stop. Be just even. Have an IQ above room temperature for like an hour, Josh. I know it's hard in Buffalo. It's very cold there. But like, go sit in the heat for a minute. Let that brain thaw out so you can see what the hell's wrong with yourself. This is nuts.
Well, I mean, either way, he's making a lot of money.
That's
all I
fair.
can
You'll
say.
make a lot more money if you stay healthy, though.
Well, I mean, most people, if they're smart, if he had a contract like his, he just has to make through that contract and he's set for the rest of his life.
Yeah, but
So,
but the Vikings Lions game this week was very interesting.
it was a little rough.
I'm still very confused. First of all, how can the internet come out and tell me the Vikings were frauds after they all picked the Lions to win anyways? Like,
right?
If the Vikings were supposed
to
to lose, how are they frauds for losing if you thought they were going to lose? How's that fraudulent behavior?
The Bills barely clawed past them.
Right.
So
And the
I thought
Vikings,
there was a good chance that the Lions, especially with the Lions being as hungry of a team as they are, like
right.
the Lions have not had a decent team in God knows how long.
Yep.
And now they actually can win. And they're like, oh, we like this winning thing.
Right. And then, I mean, the Vikings, I mean, our biggest issue, and this is the wildest thing to say, I think Harrison Smith might deserve to be Defensive Player of the Year. I know his stats don't say that, but literally the first game he misses this year, and Jared Goff looks better than Josh Allen. Like, dude, I'm not even kidding. Every big play that Detroit hit, the touchdown early in the game to Jamison Williams, his only catch for 41 yards. You know who would have been in coverage had he played? Harrison Smith. Let me tell you, that's not a touchdown if Harry the Hitman's the one there, because he's not going to let Jamison just run by him.
Mm-hmm.
I like Cam Bynum, and I even like Josh Metellus. There's a reason they're not our plans at safety. We have Lewis Seen. Maybe Bynum is the plan for the future. You know, him and Seen will be the two guys once Harry retires. I've seen a lot of people talking about how the Vikings should let Harrison Smith walk at the end of this year. No, restructure his deal. 22 deserves to retire in purple. Same with Adam Thielen. Just rework their deals. Now, the one guy... Sorry, excuse me. The one guy I think we could move off of that might make sense, and this is going to sound wild when I say it, is Dalvin Cook. He's not cooking anymore. He looks genuinely slow. And when his biggest thing was that breakaway speed, it's a bit of a problem. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I brought this up earlier. I accidentally said Derrick Henry when I meant Dalvin Cook. And you were like, what the fuck kind of drugs are you on? I was like, oh, I meant Dalvin Cook. Shit.
Oh, God, that is fucked up. Jesus. Sorry, I'm just looking at your picture. Yeah. That is awful. What the fuck?
Like, even it fixed itself for a little bit. Now I'm having the stroke again on my side, but you look fine, at least.
Nice. Somebody just texted me about, I clicked on the notification that you were live and you weren't even live. Yep.
My bad.
Clicked the wrong button, guys. Oof. But yeah, Harrison Smith would have been very helpful, but I'll talk more about the Dalvin Cook thing a little later. But yeah, Harrison Smith was, I think, one of the biggest reasons we lost. The other thing is Garrett Bradbury, our center, and Christian Darrisaw, our left tackle, were both out as well. Along with having two guards that aren't that good. This is awful. The Vikings offense, Dalvin Cook and Alexander Madison, had a total of 17 carries for 22 yards against the Lions.
Oof.
So it didn't matter that Kirk Cousins played maybe the best game of his career along with Justin Jefferson because we were entirely one-dimensional. This is the worst thing. I wish I could pull the video for it right now. I'll probably make a TikTok on it later. There were legitimately times in this game the Lions rushed 2 people and dropped 9 guys into coverage and still got pressure. 2v5 and they're getting pressure. Homie, that's bad.
That is really bad. That tells me that your line is like having a high school line.
Pretty much.
Right there.
Yeah. Here's Kirk Cousins' stat line from Sunday. 31 of 41. Those last 2 incompletions came on the last 2 throws of the game where you're trying to like win it, like pray for a miracle. So he was 31 of 39 for 425 yards and 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson had 11 catches for a franchise record 223 yards, and we lost.
Sounds about right.
Dog. Fuck. Yeah, but then again, what else do we see? Dalvin Tomlinson in his first game back getting 10 tackles. Because, we needed our big guy back. Also, he wears the Infinity Gauntlet as one of his gloves. Like, it's designed like the Infinity Gauntlet, doing the snap and shit. So, seems like just a cool dude. So, but yeah, defensive struggles with having Zadarius Smith and Danielle Hunter in coverage. They're pass rushers. Use them that way. Stop trying to drop the two best pass rushers on your team. And now you've got the whole internet on Twitter with what happened to the whole, this duo's going to just meet at the quarterback. They've got like 12 sacks all year. Well, if Ed Donatel wasn't such a fucking moron and would let those two go after the quarterback and, maybe stop being the team ranked dead last in blitzes. I get it. Our corners aren't that good. You want to have as many guys out there to cover as possible. You know what makes a corner's job easier? Pass rush.
Get some pressure.
Because if there's pressure, you don't have to cover as long. Maybe blitz once or twice. But I've also seen why they don't. Because in the Jets game, the one time they blitzed Eric Kendricks, he was a step late from getting the sack, and there was a 25-yard pass to the guy he would have been covering had he not rushed. So it's like, I see why you maybe don't blitz, but also maybe fucking blitz some. We shouldn't be last in the league in blitz percentage.
Well, I mean, be smarter about your blitzes, though. I mean, call plays that allow
maybe,
for somebody to blitz.
Maybe
but
don't
can still
send
cover
Eric
a guy.
Kendricks. Maybe let him go stay in coverage because, that's the one thing as a linebacker he really can hang his hat on, as he's one of the best coverage guys in the game. Maybe let him go cover and rush someone else. That's a thought.
Yep.
Fucking, it's so dumb. But shout out to the Lions, man. I'm not going to be one of those assholes who are like, the Lions suck. No, they don't. They never did this year. They opened up the season by losing to Philly by 3. Like, I don't get this. Well, they're the Lions. You lost to the Lions. This ain't the Lions from 2 years ago. This is Motor
Shit,
City.
it ain't even the Lions from last year.
Yes, it is. They just have more talent now. They still have that same drive, that same mentality that has been granted to them by the legend that is MCDC. Dan Campbell. Motor City Dan Campbell, if you didn't know what MCDC meant. But Jared Goff has also been weirdly impressive this year. Jamal Williams, their running back, played okay. Here's the other thing for the Vikings. Between their two starting running backs, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, we gave up 22 carries for 58 yards. I'd take that. Their third stringer got another 4 carries, so that would be 26, another 19 yards, so still only 77 yards and a touchdown. The real problem was, their fourth string running back, maybe? I have no clue who this guy is. CJ Moore had a random kick. Oh, is this their fullback? No, he's a safety? Why is he counted with a rush? I'm so confused. Oh, it was on the fake punt. Oh, my brain was fried for a second there. Yeah, the fake punt. I don't even count that one. Our run defense did a damn good job against Detroit. I know we're counting that safety fake punt run as a rush. I don't. Those aren't our regular defensive players out there. That's special teams. That's a special teams play. I think they should be separated as such. Maybe that's just me. But yeah, I'm worried a little bit about the Vikings, but also no matter where we end up, we're better off than where we were, where we thought we'd be even. So I'll take it.
Well, I mean, they've shown that they're a team to be excited about, at least.
Right.
You know? they're going someplace. They're not just the
The
same
issue is
old,
we
same
don't have
old.
that long to get there. Kirk
Yeah.
only has a year left on his deal after this. And I'm sorry, when that's up, he's going to be 36 and going on to 37. I don't want to sign a 37-year-old and keep relying on that, especially if we still haven't won anything by then. Like,
Right. But
because also Harrison Smith is like 34. Adam Thielen is like 35. Eric Kendricks is up there in his 30s. Our best players, Patrick Peterson's 35. Our best players are already old. We've got 2 years before it's time to blow it up. Or
right. Well, yeah, but you got 2 years to pick up. I mean, there's some good looking, college quarterbacks that are going to be
but
coming, and
it's tough because, like, do you risk it on a guy like Anthony Richardson, who has the tool set to be Lamar with Josh Allen's arm, basically?
Mhm.
Like, do you risk it on a guy like that? Because he also could just turn out to be the worst quarterback in football. Do you waste a first-round pick on the hopes that that guy's good? When
I don't know.
when you're a competitive team and could use that first-round pick on a guy who would help you win next year?
Well, I don't know. If your team's going to blow up in 2 years anyway, I would at least pick up some people that could potentially end up taking you to a Super Bowl someday.
Right.
I
It's
mean,
tough.
look what they did with Josh Allen. They took an extreme risk with him, and look where it's got him. But also on the same token, you have to hope that you have coaches that are good enough to
Right.
bring these people to this point.
Yeah. I like KOC, but I've never seen him develop a quarterback. I mean, his year as offensive coordinator for the Rams, he had Stafford. Now with the Vikings, he has Kirk. We've never seen him develop a guy, so who knows how that would go.
Yeah. So,
It's tough.
but I mean, I don't know. With the Vikings, I think it would be good if they got young talent, but also I don't know if they would be able to develop somebody. I think the Vikings is more of a team that, I don't know, might be better off getting a quarterback from a different team that's already been developed.
You know what
by
I
a
still
better-
think the answer is? The Ravens don't want to pay Lamar. We
Well, there
know
you go.
Lamar looks good in purple. We've seen it. We've
Yep.
seen it. Bring Lamar to Minnesota. Oh my God. Lamar with Justin Jefferson, that'd be dirt.
That'd be a little scary.
With Jefferson and Hawkinson, because I think TJ Hawkinson's around for a while. I really am worried, though, that Adam Thielen and Harrison Smith are gone. It's going to sound bad, but outside of Jefferson, those are like the only two guys who I think have to retire as Vikings. It'll hurt my soul if they don't. Like, I love
Right.
Eric Kendricks, but he hasn't been that good this year, and he's a free agent. And I'm sorry, if some other team is going to offer him 20 M's, you got to let him go. There's a reason you drafted Brian Asamoah. You were planning to replace him just in case.
Mhm.
That's why you got a guy who does the things that Eric Kendricks does. What was his issue? He couldn't tackle. Cool. We're going to let Jordan Hicks and Eric Kendricks teach him how to tackle. There you go. Like, I have a feeling EK's gone. I just do. Thielen and Harrison Smith worry me just because we can't go into next year paying Adam Thielen $15 million. We just can't.
Right.
And if
Especially since you guys don't use him hardly at all now. I mean, he gets
Right.
used, but
It's-
still.
It's one of those, like, we either have to let him walk or restructure his contract. I think the same thing with Harrison Smith, just because he's going to be making 15 M's. And a
I see it as like
36-year-old safety shouldn't be getting paid that.
I see it as like buying an expensive boat. It's nice to have, but you don't use it that much, and you could have used that money on something that was better.
Right. So, like, if Thielen wants to rework it, maybe we work it out as like an extension. So instead of $15 million this year, we give him, $5 million a year over the next 3. The money's still there. We're just delaying it to next year and the year after. or even if it's just to next year, and you go, we're going to pay you 7.5 this year, 7.5 next year, and then by then you're going to be 35. You're probably done, right?
Mhm.
That's what I'd love to do. Same with Harrison Smith. We just basically extend him and hope that it frees up some money so we can go do something about this fucking offensive line. It's atrocious. We we got our tackles. That's done. I still don't know if I love Garrett Bradbury, but he's been great this year. So if you want to move on with him, that's fine. We need some guards. We need the big guys so we can have a running game again.
Right.
As much as, yes, Dalvin Cook doesn't look as good as he should.
Yeah.
We still need to give him a better offensive line. And if we want to let Dalvin, if we want to trade him or cut him and he goes back to Miami, which would make a lot of sense. He's a Florida guy. That would make sense. He could go to Buffalo, team up with his brother and Josh Allen. There's lots of places he could go. He would still have a job. I just don't think Minnesota's a fit. We don't have the money for a guy to not be like the reason he got that contract was to be the offense for us. If he's not going to be that, we can't keep paying him what we're paying him. We just can't.
Right. I mean, you could with what you're paying him, you could drop him and pick up two guys that are decent, you know.
Right. We already have Alexander Madison. We could drop him and pick up just another guy. It doesn't have to be let's go look in free agency. Like free agents in the upcoming year. Now, some of these guys can get re-signed. That is entirely possible. But like at running back, update, come on, be a little faster. First of all, I don't see it happening. But who would you rather be paying $15 million a year to? Dalvin Cook or Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, I'd go Barkley.
Right. Or you could be smart and sign a guy like Rashad Penny from Seattle, who's probably going to want $5 million. You could go get Raheem Mostert from Miami for like $2 million. You could maybe go get Miles Sanders from the Eagles. He's going to be a free agent. Dearness Johnson. You could bring back Jerick McKinnon. Like a lot of those guys, or Jeff Wilson. Like, no, they're not stars. But you can have a split backfield between Madison and any of those guys and feel really confident in your run game. I would love Rashad Penny. That'd be so cool. Like, I don't want to lose Dalvin. I love him as a player, but like, the money just doesn't make sense. Now I want to see what offensive line free agents there are. Is there any guards that could do anything useful for us?
I don't know how to feel about Beasley coming back to the Bills.
Not good, because he's not good anymore. He's old.
I know.
And it won't matter. Actually, and you should really hate it because of how much shit he talked about Buffalo when he left. I never want to play here again. So why'd you go begging for a job again then? Weirdo. And if you're the Bills, I still think that's a stupid decision because I think they're putting themselves out of the Odell race now. And I get it, okay? I get Odell's hurt. I could cut both of Odell's legs off and he's still a better receiver than Cole Beasley. That's stupid.
Right. Well, and the Bills just put him on the practice squad, basically.
Right.
I mean, he's there if somebody gets hurt, you know.
Ooh.
But
sorry, go ahead. He's there if somebody gets hurt. Yeah.
But I doubt they even use him, to be honest.
That's fair.
But well, I mean, we're getting into the critical time of the year where, you know, I think the Bills are kind of just picking up anybody they can just in case they need them.
Right.
I think Beasley will be gone after the end of the year again. You know, they'll probably kick him off again, or he'll probably be on the practice squad and look like shit, and they'll go, nah.
Yeah, I gotta say,
mind.
I think the Bills are out this year. I really do.
Yeah, I know. Sad. I mean, injuries have. destroyed
Injuries
the
and
Bills.
the Chiefs and the Bengals are getting hot at the right time. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. I don't care if it's in Buffalo or not. I don't want to see the Bengals right now. I really don't.
yeah,
That is
they
a
are.
scary football team. Like, the Bills can't just, oh, we're just going to overpower you on offense. No, you're not. The Bengals might overpower you on offense.
Yeah,
Like, that's
I did find it kind of comical when after Allen's win, they brought him to the little desk thing or whatever so they could talk and stuff. And the one gal goes, "Well, I don't think the Bills are Super Bowl material anymore." And Allen just looks at her and goes, "Okay." And then looked away. It was kind of funny
yeah.
because Allen's he's quite the character. And it was kind of like you could see he wanted to say something, and then he was like, "Oh, okay, all right."
Okay.
Kind of a we'll see about that. I'll break my neck if I have to, which he
So,
probably will.
maybe. Elgton Jenkins. He's a guard for the Packers who has also started at center, at left tackle, and at right tackle. He's played the entire offensive line for them. He's going to be a free agent. Maybe bring him to Minnesota. Let's get, keep Bradbury, bring in Elgton at the other guard spot. Maybe Ezra Cleveland can turn into something, and boom, our offensive line looks a fuck ton better.
You can't do much worse than what it is right now. So
That's a good point.
I mean, at least throw some people in there, and then you never know. You might find some gold.
It's true.
Can't find gold unless you start digging.
The biggest worry for me though is Dalvin Tomlinson's a free agent at the end of the year, and like that's our run game. Like that's how we get stops. And the only guy in free agency that I would want to replace him with is Daron Payne, but that dude's gonna want $30 million a year. Daron Payne has been an absolute menace to society this year, just entirely. What is his stats this year? Daron Payne at defensive tackle has 8.5 sacks. As the nose guard, as your 3 tech, he's got almost 9. He's a menace. I mean, there's a reason the Commanders' front 7 is as good as it is, and Daron Payne is a big part of that. But yeah, I'm worried about it because yeah. The other thing, cap space at the end of this year, I believe. Let me double check. Yeah. So the cap space going into next year, as of right now, the Vikings are $8 million over the cap. We can't afford to add anybody. So we're going to have to make some Quessy, good old GM Quessy, is going to have to make a bunch of shitty decisions, which really sucks. I just want to say maybe you shouldn't have extended Kirk last year. Maybe you shouldn't have. Especially since there's this guy who's going to be a free agent. He wears the number 12. Some people refer to him as the GOAT.
Yeah.
You could have brought him in for cheaper. And we saw what the GOAT did with Randy Moss. I wonder what the GOAT would do with Justin Jefferson. And that would really cement his GOAT status, winning in one of those places where nobody's ever won. That's really a big old cement there. Now, the Chicago Bears are going to have about $120 million in free cap.
Oh, shit.
The Bears are not paying anybody, man. Everybody's basically on rookie deals. They have so much money. Yeah, they're
the Bears might be scary next year.
Not next year, but eventually.
Well, a couple of years anyway.
So the Bears are also they're not as young. Yeah, they're one of the 5 youngest teams in the league. Along with the Giants, this one hurts the most. The Chiefs have the 2nd youngest team by average age in the NFL.
That's scary.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. The Browns are third. The Lions are fourth. The Bears are fifth. Another scary one. The Bengals are sixth. When I said Manning Brady, the whole who's going to be the Manning Brady of this generation, it's going to be Mahomes and Burrow, not Mahomes and Allen, because Burrow's going to be Manning. He's going to be the guy who has the stats and probably by the end of it, the awards. I know right now he doesn't have any.
Mm-hmm.
He's making the argument that he deserves the MVP more than Mahomes does, though. Like,
well, all I can say is the Bengals have the Chiefs' name.
Yeah, they do.
At this point.
They do.
So,
yeah. So, Mahomes has, let's see, how many is that? That's going to be 14 more completions on about 45 more attempts. He's got a lower completion percentage. He's got some more yards, which is valid, but Mahomes also has more interceptions. Also been sacked way less, which I guess is benefit for Mahomes, the little asshole.
Yeah.
But like Burrow's making a case that it should be him if you look past week 1 where he was awful against the Steelers.
I was intrigued by how close the Denver Chiefs game was. I mean, I know Denver's got a really good defense, but Kansas City's defense isn't terrible.
Yes,
I don't think. Is it?
Yes, it is.
I mean, not to be able to cover fucking Denver's. Well, apparently it's awful because it couldn't cover fucking Denver. But
well, and Denver's receivers aren't bad. It's been a bunch of scheme issues, and I don't know if I do know that you didn't watch the game because you were at game night.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson was doing that thing where he played like Russell Wilson.
Right.
Running around, making things happen. It's almost like that works. It's almost like he's a Hall of Fame level quarterback because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you should let him do that. But yeah, nope, that's offensive stats. That's not what I want. Defense. Again, looking just like we did at the Vikings. Incompletion percentage, the Chiefs are worse than the Vikings. Yards per attempt, the Chiefs. Where the fuck are they? They're about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About middle of the pack in yards per attempt. Total yards allowed, they're bottom 10. Touchdowns allowed, they are the worst. They have allowed the most passing touchdowns of any team in the NFL.
Okay.
They are
shitty,
bottom 10 in turnovers. Bottom 5 in first downs given up. Like first downs allowed. And they are... Oh, they've gotten more sacks than I expected them to have, so that's cool. And then rushing defense, I feel like this could be where we get a bit more interesting, maybe. Maybe not. Where the fuck are the Chiefs? Actually, the Chiefs are top 6 in yards allowed running the ball. And they're also top 3 in touchdowns. They got a good rushing defense. They can't cover shit.
Oh.
Which is why they will lose to the Bengals every time.
Yeah, because the Bengals have...
When you can't cover anybody and the Bengals got an infinite number of receivers.
Right. Because who all do they have? They have Chase, they have
Higgins, Boyd.
Which he's hurt. And
Irwin,
so is Higgins.
They got Hayden Hurst. They got Joe Mixon, Samaje Perine, Chris Evans.
Yeah.
The weapons over there are just different, man. That's why I think the Chiefs aren't gonna do that much. Because in the playoffs, these talent is kind of king, man. And when you're second, that's why I'm worried about the Vikings. But the thing with the Vikings is there aren't that many teams with that much more talent than them. It's just our talent's not doing what they normally do, which isn't great. But is what it is. But yeah, The Broncos defense just really just took advantage of Mahomes. I mean, forcing 3 turnovers is going to allow Russ to cook, and he did. Russ was cooking. It was wild.
Yeah. And then he got dinged up.
Oh, he got smoked.
Yeah.
That big old concussion.
He was all cross-eyed.
Now, though, I have the internet telling me that the Vikings are going to lose to the Colts. So
That ain't gonna happen.
no shot. It's wild, though.
No.
I don't know who on the Colts would beat us. So Wyatt's World, you know him. He's on TikTok. He's the Bills and Vikings fan who does. He's one of the people saying upset of the week. Colts will beat the Vikings. No, they won't. Now, Matt Ryan might have a career day against us, but I'm sorry. The Colts aren't that good at all in any way, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think Jonathan Taylor's probably going to give you a little trouble. But...
I don't. It's still going to be the Colts passing game. I'd put money on it. I don't have any money, but I would put money on Jonathan Taylor going for less than 100 yards. Dalvin Tomlinson's playing. GG.
Well,
Colts offensive line is bad, and we still have good run stoppers. We went through the stats. The Vikings' run defense is really good. We just can't cover.
Yeah.
And lucky for us, Colts receivers suck. Michael Pittman would probably be the wide receiver 5 in Minnesota. I know a lot of people love that guy. Don't know why. Don't know what you've seen that would make you think he's a good wide receiver. He's fine.
Yeah, I have him on one of my fantasy leagues,
He's
and he's
not
got to be one of my starting wide
fantasy
receivers
doesn't matter to me because, like, D-Hop is not that good in fantasy. I'd still love D-Hop on my team.
Right, I get that. But D-Hop missed most of the year, so...
So this just popped up on my timeline. I just don't get how everyone talks down on Dallas. The Chiefs lost to the Colts, the Eagles lost to the Commanders, the Bengals lost to Cooper Rush, the Vikings lost to the Lions. Dallas struggles against Houston and still wins, but we're awful. One, Houston is far and away the worst team in football, and it's not close.
Mm-hmm.
Do not compare the Lions, the Commanders, or the Colts to the Texans, because that's not valid. The Texans have about that many good players. 3, maybe.
I was about to say, I'm not saying that everybody on the team is terrible, because there's like 3 or 4 guys.
Well, and they're still developing some rookies. Like, I'm not discrediting the rookies. Proven talent. You have Laramie Tunsil, Brandon Cooks. Technically, that's it for proven talent. I'm just giving Dameon Pierce, the running back, the nod as a good player already. Because running back is the easiest position to evaluate in football. You're good or you're bad, and you can see it very quick.
Right. I was going to say Dameon Pierce has actually done pretty good for
I
what he's
think
had.
Stingley will be good. Jalen Petrie, the safety, will be good, I think, in the future. But I'm not going to overcredit a rookie yet. Neither of them are playing like Sauce Gardner. Like, we can acknowledge he's him. Not yet with Stingley. Not yet. And a lot of that scheme stuff. But also, it's because you're the Cowboys. You are one of the most toxic fan bases in sports with the way you talk to people. So yes, when Dallas looks shitty, you are going to get more shit than most people. Nobody is just talking down on Dallas. Maybe get on the internet a little bit. Look at every other team. Stop living in your own little fucking bubble. People talk down on the Eagles every week. They've lost one time and they get talked down on like they're awful. The Vikings get talked down on every week, even when they win. You go out and beat the Bills and, well, they're still not really that good. Go ask Josh Allen how good they are.
Right.
Do it. I dare you. Because what will Josh say? Allen, they're probably the toughest team we played this year.
Yep. Even before we even played you guys, Josh Allen had an interview and he said it's going to be a good game.
Yep.
It's going to be I think it's going to be an eye opener for us is one of the things he said. Yep. And he was right.
Yep.
I mean, they had control of the game for quite a while and then The
Yeah.
Vikings do what the Vikings do best, and here they come.
Hey,
The last fucking quarter.
this year, pulling a Vikings, we've really flipped what that means. Normally it means choking. This year we've flipped it to mean, no, pulling a Vikings means you literally pulled a win out your ass. It shouldn't have been there, but you chose it. But yeah, everybody talks down on the Eagles also. Everybody talks down on the Cowboys, as they should. The only team that doesn't get talked down on is the Chiefs, and it's because Patrick Mahomes is just a fucking monster. Like, Patrick Mahomes every week is the peak of any other quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Mahomes on average. Like, Mahomes is that guy. There's no debate of who's close to Mahomes. Nobody. Nobody's even relatively close. Now, Josh Allen, at peak of his powers, is close. He's too inconsistent. He doesn't stay at peak of his powers long enough.
Josh Allen was consistent, I mean,
Maybe
Patty would still probably be a little bit above.
But you could make an argument. There's no argument now. There's no argument. Nobody's close. I don't care.
Right.
If you asked the Bills today, like, we're doing a NFL fantasy draft, we're just putting every player in a pool, you get the first pick, Bills. Who are you picking? Their GM will say Patrick Mahomes. Now, he wouldn't say it publicly. Off the record, he would say Patrick Mahomes. Because you don't want to put, that in your guy's mind. He's not a terrible person. But there isn't a GM in this league who would pick any quarterback over Mahomes. Or any player. It just doesn't matter. Like, Mahomes is that dude. It's wild. And the people still trying to argue that Mahomes isn't that guy because he gets beat by Burrow. Every quarterback has that one guy they can't beat. It's always been a thing. There's always that one guy that just has your number. And it's not even about you. He has your defense's number. And, it doesn't matter what you do. We saw that with Mahomes last year. We dropped 35 in Cincy. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. Oh, jeez. My God.
Been a strange season, that's for sure.
It really has. The internet's just a wild place with everybody hating everybody.
Yeah.
But then everybody playing the victim like they're the only ones that get shit talked. That's why when I make the videos, I don't know what the fuck you're saying about the Vikings. That's why I bring up every other team. Why are you saying this shit about the Vikings and Eagles? It makes no sense. They're clearly that good. And then the 49ers still confuse me. I refuse to put that much faith in a 7th round rookie. No rookie has ever even made it to a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy is not going to be the first. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't care how
Brock
good
Purdy
the Niners
has
are.
been
He
decent.
looked great last week.
He looked really good.
I mean, he outdueled the GOAT. You got to give him his flowers, but also playoffs are very different than week 14.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm sorry. You don't want to see the GOAT again. You don't.
No, you don't.
I don't care what team you are. You don't want to be. The Bucs are probably going to win their division. I mean, the Falcons and the Panthers still have a shot, which is wild to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's probably going to be the Bucs. The Cowboys are probably going to be the 5 seed. Do you think Dallas really wants to have to go play the GOAT? Really? I don't care how good you think Dallas is. I don't want Minnesota to have to play the GOAT either, because he's still that guy. Now, nice thing for us is Tampa Bay's secondary sucks, so we'll just feed JJ and it'll all work out probably, but fuck.
Right.
Oh.
Well, Tom Brady knows how to fucking win, so
Yep.
That's just what it comes down to. When you've been in the sport as long as he has, he just knows how to win.
So, just so you know, we are going to have a very interesting race for Offensive Player of the Year this year in the NFL. I think it really is only down to 2 guys, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah.
Both guys are on pace to have over 2,000 yards receiving this season. No wide receiver has ever done it. 2 guys are probably going to do it this year. That's nuts.
That is wild.
Right now, Tyreek Hill has 100 receptions for 1,460 yards and 6 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson has 99 receptions for 1,500 yards and 6 touchdowns. 40 yards separates the two. This part, I think, is more wild, though. Between Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, who do you think has more receptions over 20 yards?
I'd say Justin Jefferson.
But in your brain, you'd think Tyreek Hill. Like, that just makes more sense because of his style of play.
Not really, because the Dolphins have been playing him more like a slot. So he does short little inside slants.
Right, but even if you do an inside slant and break it for 22 yards, that's still a 20-yard reception.
Right, I get that. But still, Justin Jefferson's, everything he gets thrown to, he's already past 20 yards, usually when he's getting thrown
That's kind of valid. Jefferson has 25 catches of more than 20 yards. Tyreek Hill has 23. So, and those are the two best guys in the league at that. The only other guy with more than 20, shocker, is Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson are tied for first in catches of 40-plus yards at 6 apiece. Their longest reception of the year is exactly the same, 64 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is wild.
Neck and neck right there.
What's even wilder, and I gotta keep bringing this up, who do you think has more yards after catch?
Gotta go Justin Jefferson again.
But you'd assume it was Tyreek Hill with the way they use him, but no, it's JJ. Right. Like, Tyreek's having an incredible season, but the race for Offensive Player of the Year really is going to come down to which of those guys finishes with more yards, because they will hold the record. That's all it's going to be. And I hope it's Jefferson, because if they both hit 2,000, only one of those guys is ever going to be talked about, because the other guy's second all time. Like, I want it to be JJ who's on top, just so he's the guy who gets remembered from this year. Because I'm a bit of a homer, but.
Well, you got to be a Viking bias, you know. You are a
little
Viking
bit.
fan.
Got to have that little bit of Vikings bias. It's allowed, okay? I try to do so good to avoid it. In situations like this, though, no. It needs to be JJ.
Right.
Because, I mean, honestly, I think he deserves to be in the conversation for MVP, because none of the quarterbacks are having that good of a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Tyreek Hill and Justin Jefferson, it really should be whichever one of them finishes with better stats is the MVP. Then the other guy should be Offensive Player of the Year. Genuinely, that's how it should be. Because those are the two most valuable players this year. Take Tyreek away from Miami, and they are not the same team. Take Justin Jefferson away from Minnesota, and they're probably one of the worst teams in football.
They'd have lost to the Bills if it wasn't for Justin Jefferson. They would have lost to the Bills.
They would have lost to the Dolphins. They probably would have lost to the Jets. They probably would have like most of our games. But the Bills one is the clearest one. He won us that game. It was him. That's it. But, yeah.
I mean, you had to make miracle catches in order to win against the Bills, so.
That is funny. As much shit as I was talking about Dalvin Cook earlier in this episode, he's still 6th in rushing yards on the season.
Right.
Which is wild, but.
Well, part of that's because he's been healthy most of the year.
Right. He's not missing time. He's just, you can tell he's not.
No.
Something's different. I don't know if it's a scheme
Dalvin has not been
thing.
Dalvin this year.
No. Like, he's still been good.
He ate too many wafers in the offseason or something.
Maybe. But I think we should probably wrap it there.
Yeah, you get a stream to do, so.
Yes, sir. So anything else you want to bring up and talk about?
Not really, sports-wise anyway, so.
Yeah, I thought we were going to cover more than just sports, but we got I got very sidetracked. Yeah. But
you can save it for next time.
Oh, yeah, there's always a next time. But for now, I think that'll do it for us. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.